Now shut down Goanimate and go to bed.
Security.
Alvin Hung and the the Movie is certainly a movie that exists. And by exists, I mean it's 2 hours of preachy propaganda trying to convince us that Alvin Hung, a man who ran a global drag-and-drop animation business, is somehow a poor defenseless victim. Add the fact that many of the things about Alvin Hung that are said in this movie are actually false. But to be fair, this disaster didn't happen in a vacuum. The production was a lightning rod for drama. While CNN Vyond was making it, you had people like Neo M or 343 Florida 2014 breathing down his neck over canceled projects like new Goanimate. And the community atmosphere at the time? Toxic. Yet it's been a toxic community since forever now. People were literally idolizing Alvin Hung, making up wild claims that he was poor to justify attacking everyone who didn't like him by calling them a name which includes a term that kids won't even know what it actually means. And all of this was over a petty decision Goanimate announced, saying that they were transferring to HTML5, and that the non-business themes couldn't be a part of this transfer. Although the real reason was because they were tired of seeing little kids make grounded videos out of Caillou while they were trying to get businesses to use their site. In other words, this movie is more than just a bad watch. It is a time capsule of a community that was completely off the rails and forever will be for the years ahead. So, in this short review video, I would like to explain why I think the Alvin Hung movie is quite literally both the worst Goanimate movie ever made, and the worst movie made by a YouTuber. Now before we go any further, keep in mind that this video is made for constructive criticism purposes only, and please do not attack anyone that will or has been mentioned in this video. Now, without further delay, let's get into it.
But you don't worry, you don't worry, 'cause you got...
Oh, please, I have no soul.
So, does this movie have a story to tell?
Well, yes, but actually no.
Technically, there is a story, as it is basically a revenge fantasy centered on a user named Coolboy7750. He leads a literal squad of children on a mission to overthrow Alvin Hung. Their master plan? Kidnap Alvin and his entire completely made-up family, dump them in the middle of a random forest, and stage a hostile takeover of the website. Why? Because they want to forcibly revert the site back to its non-business themes by transforming it into a clone called Future Animate. It's essentially a 2-hour tantrum about website updates. While Alvin is playing Survivor in the woods with this weird-ass looking caveman dude, a team of Goanimators decide to go on a rescue mission to find Alvin and his family. While said family try to find their way back home so that Alvin can get back to his business and, well, save the business. It at least has a story it wants to tell, and I'm kinda glad it did. It's just that its execution and purpose is bullshit. Right into this movie, even after the fact that it showed the f***ing Columbia Pictures logo when they had nothing to do with this movie. It has nothing to do to hook you into the plot. Just begin it with a sad, Oscar bait-worthy backstory about him starting off as a poor orphan to being the owner of Goanimate. Even at the start of the movie, the lies are there. And it only gets worse from there. For the first 30 minutes, it just feels like a recap of everything that happened with Goanimate for the past decade. Since this movie was released in 2017, it slowly sets up the nonsense that's ahead. After those first 30 minutes, the nonsensical plot starts to go downhill from there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on saying all the dumb shit that happens in this movie, since we'd all be here forever if I did. But I do like to mention one major thing about the writing of this movie. It has zero originality in its script. What I mean from that is that it also rips off scenes from other movies, scene to scene and word to word. For example,
I'm scared. I want to go home.
Now. Don't worry, children. There's nothing to be afraid of. Under the shade, all of us.
What's gonna happen to us?
I don't know, but hopefully not get struck by lightning or get crushed by a tree.
I wish we were home with Dad right now.
Oh, poor Alvin. Without him, we will be poor forever.
Woohoo! Tim Marker. We did it. We. Tim?
Bing bong? Bing bong!
You made it. Ha 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 ha. Go and save Goanimate. Ha ha ha. And tell my wife I love her. Take you now. Okay. I'll try, Tim.
I'll try. Bing bong.
I promise.
So not only this movie is completely boring, but it's also direct plagiarism. I'm also not going to forget the fact that this movie's message by the end just feels like I'm being preached to more than a VeggieTales episode.
Seriously, GoFags. Please stop hating on me.
We get it, shut up! The best I can say about its plot is that it has a story. It's just that the materials it has makes its execution botched and soulless. The characters suck! That's all! Every character in this movie has either one-dimensional personalities or absolutely none at all. And one of my biggest criticisms about this movie is that this film has more characters than the average MCU movie. Like, there are so many characters in this over 2-hour-long movie that I didn't even know many of the characters' names, let alone all the Goanimate users that appear in it. The caveman dudes are the worst characters of the film. They have no chemistry with the protagonist, and they were never, ever, ever funny. As for the main character of this movie, Alvin Hung, he's just depicted as the generic protagonist who always wants money. And even when he nearly dies at the end of his own movie, I forgot to say spoilers ahead, he recovers because his life is saved by fucking money. Bro is genuinely a protagonist that pisses me off. As for his fake-ass family, they are just there, only to give Alvin support since they are the ones he needs to save and get back home. Also, the fact that they gave his wife an Indian accent makes me feel uncomfortable to say the least.
Alvin, Tim Marker and his friends are really delightful. I lied.
Is this a racist cartoon?
You know,
I barely have anything to say about the characters that are represented in this movie. All I can say is that they're just bland. Alvin Hung and the Go Fags the Movie is by far the worst Goanimate movie I have ever seen in my entire life. This movie is boring, lifeless, creatively bankrupt, full of preachy propaganda, and is overall pointless by the end. The story is barely even there, as it's trying to act like an animated documentary about Alvin Hung, but goes downhill immediately when you realize all the info about him in this movie is absolutely false. And the characters are both bland, forgettable, and the fact that there's so many characters in this movie that I barely know many of the characters' names. The film rips off scenes from other films that are way better than this, meaning this film is also direct plagiarism. And it is very preachy with its message, even having the worst message delivery I've seen in a movie ever. Along with a bunch of copyrighted logos and companies that had absolutely nothing to do with the production of the film in the first 30 seconds. You put all that stuff together, and you get what is possibly the worst Goanimate movie of all time, and I don't think any other bad Goanimate movie could ever come close to what this movie has done. While this is an internet movie, as a film itself, it is easily one of the worst I've ever seen. I do not recommend watching this movie at all. But unless you like watching bad online movies for the shits and giggles, then watch this at your own risk. This movie pisses me off so badly, and it's baffling that this movie is just poor drama commentary in disguise, and fails for doing exactly that. Which is why I give Alvin Hung and the Go Fags the Movie 1 thumbs up Jimbo out of 5. Anyways, that's it for my review. If you have your own thoughts on this movie, you could tell me in the comments. I'm curious to hear about what y'all think. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go watch a movie that is way better than this so I can flush this soulless mess out of my mind. I'll see you later. Why, hey there. You officially reached the end of the video. All I can say is, Thank you so much for watching this video. No, seriously, I mean it. I thank you for watching this video all the way through. It really warms my heart. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, as this channel runs entirely on your support, as without it, I won't be able to make videos like these. Anyways, I'm Braxpo, and I will see you around. Stay chill, peeps.